The walls of Sardalic Sanitarium offer a brief respite from the constant demands of war. Once Ashford Abbey, dedicated to Dwana's peace, it now houses those whose minds couldn't weather the Searing's devastation. 2 years of fighting have taught me that physical wounds heal faster than the invisible ones. But there's no time for extended rest. My fellow Ascalonians need me, and I have promises to keep. The weight of yesterday's confrontation between King Adalburn and Prince Ruick still sits heavy in my chest. Hearing about father and son at each other's throats while our enemies mass at our borders. It's not the unity we need. Yet Ambassador Zane's supplies reached Ellie's orphanage, and that's what matters. Ascalonian children will eat again tonight just because we chose action over politics. With my new belt pouch secured and my gear organized, I prepared to head south to Regent Valley. The ambassador needs help with the bandit problem, and War Master Grast needs Sergeant Clark's patrol pulled back to defend the breach. Time to move. Every moment of delay gives our enemies more opportunity to strike. The morning sun does little to warm the scarred landscape as I make my way towards Regent Valley. The path is familiar now. 2 years of patrols have etched every rock and ruined wall into my memory. But familiarity doesn't mean safety. The Charr aren't the only threat we face these days. Desperate times create desperate people, and Ambassador Zane's troubles with his Tauren character prove that some Ascalonians have forgotten what we're really supposed to be fighting for. The valley stretches before me, once fertile farmland, now pocked with craters and defensive positions. Somewhere out here, Tauren and his bandits are making life harder for people trying to help us. The irony isn't lost on me. Ascalonian criminals attacking those who would aid Ascalon, while our king refuses that same aid out of stubborn pride. Well, at least bandits are a problem I can solve with direct action. There. Movement near the old trade route. Tauren's crew, just where the ambassador's intelligence suggested. They're poorly organized, overconfident, probably gotten used to attacking merchants and supply caravans who can't fight back. My weapon feels right in my hands as I charge. These aren't honorable enemies defending their homeland like the Charr. These are parasites feeding on our misfortune. The fight is brief but decisive. Tauren himself tries to rally his men, shouting something about foreign sympathizers and true Ascalonians. Empty words from a man who preys on his own people's desperation. My weapon ends his rhetoric permanently. The other bandits scatter once their leader falls. Good. Maybe they'll think twice before attacking helpful strangers again. With the bandit threat eliminated, I need to find Clark and his men. War Master Grast was clear about the urgency. The Charr are massing at the breach, and we need every available soldier repositioned immediately. Duke Baradin's breakthrough to Piken Square was a tactical victory, but it's left us vulnerable. Military decisions always have consequences, and now we're scrambling to plug the gap before the Charr pour through. Sergeant Clark, I call out as I spot the patrol near the eastern road. The sergeant turns, professional alertness in his stance. Good, his men haven't gotten lazy despite the routine assignment. That's right. What's the word from command? His tone was all business when we were chatting. Said, War Master Grast needs you and your men back immediately. The Charr are threatening the breach and we need every sword for their defense. And Clark didn't hesitate. He said, you heard him, men. Form up. We move out immediately. That's the kind of swift response that might keep us alive. No questions, no complaints. Just soldiers doing their duty when Ascalon needs them the most. As we march north with purpose, I spot Witness Rastin still waiting where I left him. The supplies from Artisan David are in my pack. Might as well complete this task while the patrol follows. The dead deserve their rights, and Rastin's work brings comfort to the living too. Witness Rastin, call out, pulling the carefully wrapped supplies from my pack. Everything Artisan David prepared for your ceremony. His weathered hands accept the bundle with reverence. Thank you. These supplies from David should suffice. Rest assured, soon the spirits of the dead shall be granted the peace they deserve. Such are the blessings of the unseen ones. There's something comforting about his certainty. His faith that proper rites matter even in chaos, maybe especially in chaos. The ambassador stands where Prince Ruick left him, maintaining his diplomatic composure despite the obvious danger of his position. His relief when he sees me is palpable. The bandit Tauren, he asked hopefully. Dealt with, he won't be troubling your supply lines anymore. You have my sincerest thanks for ridding us of that troublesome Tauren, Zane responds. Genuine gratitude in his voice gives me hope to see that not all of the people of Ascalon are blinded by the troubles of old. May the unseen ones watch over you. My men and I are in constant danger as long as we remain here. I have physical evidence of the threat, something that might convince the vanguard to help. If you take it to Gate Guard Hollis, perhaps the vanguard will agree to provide protection for us. You'll find him guarding the eastern gate in Old Ascalon. The sealed document he hands me feels heavier than its physical weight. evidence of threats against diplomatic envoys. This could force even King Adalbern to provide protection, if only to maintain the appearance of Ascalonian honor. I'll take care of it, I assure him. Clark's men maintain perfect formation as we approach War Master Grass's position. The War Master's experienced eye takes in their readiness with approval. The patrol, well done. Grass's relief is evident. You are a credit to Ascalon. Clark, take your men, head in to Ascalon City and gather as many able-bodied fighters as you can. Clark salutes sharply. Yes, sir, you heard the War Master men, double time to the city. But before I can follow them towards the city, Grass's expression shifts to urgency. You couldn't have come at a better time. Word from the captain, west at the breach, is that a Charr attack is imminent. Get yourself there as quickly as you can, and help Captain West repel the Charr attack. His grip on my shoulder tightens. Ascalon is counting on you. To the breach, I respond without hesitation. The city wall will have to wait. Immediate threats take priority. The path west toward Hammer Gate is one I've traveled many times, but never with such urgency. Gate guard Hollis will have to wait for the ambassador's documents. Captain West needs immediate support. The breach has been our weak point since Duke Baradin's advance. And if the Charr break through here, they'll have a clear path into Ascalon's interior. Sound of battle preparations reach me before I see Captain West's position. She's a veteran commander, one of the few female officers who earned her rank through sheer competence in combat. Her small force is arranged in defensive positions, but they're outnumbered. Thank goodness you showed up. West calls out as I approach. Relief evident despite her professional composure. The Charr are almost here. No time for further conversation. The first wave hits us like a hammer strike. They come, howling over the ridge, a mix of warriors and flame wielders. My sword meets the first one head on, the satisfying crunch telling me one less threat to Ascalon. West's soldiers fight with desperate efficiency. They know what happens if we fail here. Magic, fire, scorches the ground around us, but we hold the line. The first wave breaks against their defense, bodies littering the approach. Here they come again, West shouts. The group is bigger, better equipped. They've learned from the first wave's failure. They tried to flank us, but West anticipated this, repositioning her archers. My sword swings in deadly arcs, each strike defending not just this position, but every Ascalonian settlement behind us. A Charr blade catches my shoulder, drawing blood, but adrenaline keeps me fighting. We're holding. The final assault is their strongest, elite Charr warriors, the ones usually held in reserve. They're trying to punch through before our reinforcements arrive. This is the critical moment. Everything depends on holding now. West fights beside me, her sword work precise and lethal. My sword finds its rhythm. Block, strike, pivot, strike again. The Charr are fierce, but we're fighting for our homes, our families. That gives us an edge no amount of strength can match. Finally, the last Charr falls, and sudden silence defends in the breach. That's the last of them. Captain West's voice cuts through the ringing in my ears. She turns to me, blood on her sword, but victory in her eyes. Report back to War Master Grass. Inform him that we hold the breach. The walk back to Grass's position feels longer than the sprint out. Adrenaline fades, leaving exhaustion and the sting of various wounds, but we held. The breach remains in Ascalonian hands. You gave those Charr a good taste of Ascalon steel, eh? Grass' approval is worth the pain. That is good news indeed. Captain West shall continue to guard the area, but without your help, all would have been lost. He looks me in the eye, soldier to soldier. I'm honored to serve beside you. Coming from War Master Grass, that's a higher praise than any medal. With the immediate crisis handled, I can finally enter the city proper. The familiar merchant's quarter beckons. My pack is full of unidentified items from recent battles, and I have finally enough gold to properly evaluate them. The identification kit reveals surprises. 2 items with significantly improved sell value and 2 others with valuable salvageable materials. The salvage kit does its work, extracting useful components from the combat-worn equipment, iron ingots, bolt cloth, some aircrafting materials, all valuable for trade or crafting. The improved items sell well to the merchants, adding to my growing funds. Looking to upgrade that armor? Korn asks, eyeing my battle-scarred equipment with a professional eye. What can you make for me? He examines my materials and shakes his head. You don't have enough iron, and by judging by your purse, not enough gold to buy what you need either. Come back when you've gathered more resources. Disappointing, but practical. Good armor takes proper materials. Instead, I invest in something immediately useful, a proper bag. The extra carrying capacity is a welcome relief after managing an overflowing pack for so long. Armor will come next, when I can afford it properly. As I organize my new bag, War Master Titus intercepts me near the main thoroughfare. There you are. I was asked to pass you a message from Prince Ruick. There's trouble at the Great Northern Wall. and they'd like your help. Squire Zachary is waiting for you at the wall. His tone shifts, becoming more personal, concerned. One thing before you go. Since Althena's disappearance, the prince has grown increasingly reckless. Be careful, old friend. We all see it in his eyes. The way he throws himself in the dangers of challenging fate itself. But reckless or not, he's still the best hope Ascalon has for practical leadership. I'll take care of it, I assure Titus, meaning both the mission and watching out for the prince, because there's still hope that she lives. The journey northeast to the wall feels different this time. There's tension in the air, stillness that comes before a storm. The guards I pass exchange nervous glances. Veterans know when something's wrong. Even without specific intelligence, it's been too quiet from the Charr. Never a good sign. Young Squire Zachary practically snaps to attention when he sees me approaching. It's an honor to meet you, he says. I can hear the mix of excitement and nervousness in his voice. These young soldiers still see war as an adventure, a chance for glory. Give him a few more months and he'll understand what we're really fighting for, survival. I suppose you're wondering why Prince Ruok asked you here, he continues. I'm afraid I can't say. Really, Captain Callahan is in charge, and I'm not so important that they tell me anything, to be honest. His honesty is refreshing. Too many young soldiers try to seem more important than they are. Captain Callahan wastes no time on pleasantries. We fear the Charr General. Bonfast Burntfur is planning a mass raid on the wall, he states flatly. The name sends a chill through me. Bonfast Burntfur is no ordinary Charr commander. He's the one who led forces during the Searing, a strategic genius by Charr standards. Head north into enemy territory and find out what that mangy beast has planned, Callahan orders. The veterans around us are having their own quiet conversation, and their words confirm my suspicions. It's been awfully quiet around here. No Charr patrol for days, says one. Another one responds, yeah, it's eerie, everyone's on edge. Another one says, I don't think Ascalon could hold back another Charr invasion. And the response was, they're planning something. I know it. Stepping beyond the wall always feels like leaving safety behind, even though I know the wall is more symbol than true protection these days. The Searing proved that walls alone can't stop determined enemies with powerful magic. Every sense sharpens as we advance into Charr-controlled lands. The ground here still bears fresh scars from recent battles. We move carefully, checking each rise, each ruined structure. The absence of Charr patrols isn't comforting. It's ominous. They're elsewhere, gathering for something bigger. Pile of wreckage catches my eye. Not Charr construction, but old Ascalonian stonework. Among the debris, something gleams. A piece of ancient armor, bearing markings I recognize from history lessons. Kiln Testabri's crest, the champion of Sumira's grave, must have been disturbed in the recent fighting. Carefully extract it from the rubble. Path ahead splits, and I choose to search methodically. Near another pile of wreckage, Kus lies half buried, its metal still gleaming despite years underground. These pieces were scattered by something powerful, probably the Searing's magical devastation. To the north, the sounds of combat draw my attention. Gargoyles and Grawl tear at each other in savage territorial dispute. No time to wait for them to exhaust themselves. We need to keep moving. My sword clears a path through the survivors of their brawl. Their primitive conflict meaningless compared to what's coming for Ascalon. Past the narrow bridge, bearing left, I spot the greaves partially concealed by ash and debris. Each piece I recover feels like reclaiming a fragment of our history, our heroes who died defending this land. The final piece, the pauldron, waits along the northeastern pass, almost like a deliberate marker pointing towards something important. The temperature drops noticeably as we approach an ancient stone structure. A figure materializes, translucent, wavering, but unmistakably a warrior, even in death. The armor I carry grows warm, responding to its owner's presence. In life, I was known as the champion of Sirmia, the spirit intones, his voice carrying the echo of centuries. In death, I am but a restless spirit. Even after everything I've witnessed since the Searing, speaking with the honored dead still fills me with awe. This is a hero from our histories standing before me. Please help me, Kiln continues. There's desperation in that spectral voice. The enchanted armor that sealed my tomb has been stolen. Find it and return it to me so that I may pass into the rift. I step forward, laying each piece of the armor before him with the reverence it deserves. I found your armor, champion. Rest now. Thank you. His relief is palpable, even from beyond death. I will remember your kindness when we meet again in the underworld. The spirit fades, finally at peace, and the oppressive cold lifts. Another duty fulfilled, another piece of Ascalon's honor restored. Passing further north, we crest a ridge and my blood turns to ice. The valley below wreathes with movement. Charr, thousands of them, not a raiding party, not even a standard assault force. This is an invasion army. Bonfaz, burnt furs, massive form is unmistakable at the center. His generals are ranged around him as they coordinate the gathering horde.
Back to the wall!
The Charr invasion force. I breathe, my mind struggling to process the scale of what we're seeing. Captain Callahan was right. Sharp blast of a Charr warhorn shatters the moment and a scout points directly at our position. The entire army begins to stir like a disturbed anthill. They've spotted us. Back to the wall. Every muscle screams as we sprint back the way we came. Behind us, the thunder of thousands of Charr feet shakes the ground. War cries echo off the canyon walls, growing closer with each second. The gargoyles and Grawl we passed earlier scatter at our approach, then flee themselves as they see what follows us. No time to think, only run. The wall needs warning. Every second we buy them could save lives. My lungs burn like I'm breathing fire, but I push harder. If we fail here, if we don't warn them in time, the Charr will hit the wall like a tidal wave against unprepared defenders.
You're back. Well done. What news of the Charr?
Sir, we found Bonfaz Burntfur and the Charr army in a valley to the north. But I'm afraid we were spotted. They come for the wall as we speak.
There are too many. We'll never hold them back. The wall is lost. We must fall back. Retreat! Retreat! Regroup at the bunkers just north of Fort Rannoch. We can't let the Charr make it to the capital.
Here at Fort Rannoch, surrounded by exhausted soldiers and frantic preparations, the magnitude of what had just happened truly sinks in. The Great Northern Wall, the symbol of Ascalonian strength, the line that has held for untold generations will fall within hours. I can still hear distant war horns on the wind, the Charr celebrating their imminent victory. We gave ground to save lives, and Captain Callahan made the only decision that prevented a massacre. But that doesn't ease the bitter taste of retreat. This changes everything. The Charr will pour through the breach like water through a shattered dam, threatening every farm, every village, every innocent life between here and Ascalon City. The strategic situation we've barely managed for 2 years has crumbled in a single day. We're no longer fighting to hold territory. We're fighting for the very survival of our people. Standing inside Fort Rannoch's walls, watching more evacuees arrive, I think about Ambassador Zane and his offer to aid. Pride seems like such a foolish luxury now. King Adalburn will have to acknowledge that we need every ally, every resource, every sword we can muster. Prince Ruuk's pragmatism might be our only path forward. Old grudges from past wars mean nothing when your kingdom stands on the brink of annihilation. Tomorrow we'll strengthen these defenses, interrogate the scattered forces, and prepare for the storm that's coming. The Charr have won this battle, but the war for Ascalon continues. We've fallen back, but we haven't fallen. As long as there's Ascalonians willing to stand and fight, as long as people like Prince Ruuk lead with wisdom instead of stubborn pride, we have hope. The wall may have fallen, but here at Fort Rannoch, we make our stand. For every Ascalonian behind these walls, for every child in Ellie's orphanage, for everyone who depends on us, we'll hold. We have to.